Okay, we're about to do quest setup and the seeding process in the dungeon, but first I do want to go over those 3 different game modes for the scenario system with you. The first game mode is basically what we're doing now. We selected novice difficulty, so we're just going to go right down each of these columns and set up everything, just like what we did. So the first game mode is just select one of the 6 difficulties and go right down each column and set the game up as instructed. The second game mode is kind of like a custom difficulty. This is where maybe you're going to say, well, I want 8 healing potions in the bazaar, but only 5 elixir potions, 7 ultra juice potions, 8 torches, so on and so forth. Same with the blacksmith level. Maybe you want to have 16 common white items, but only 8 uncommon, maybe 10 rare pieces of gear in the blacksmith shop, and again, so on and so forth. So you get to pick and choose whatever you like. And the same with the village terror level, raid difficulty, all of these. So it's kind of create your own difficulty. The third game mode is generating a random game, letting fate decide what's going to happen in your game. I wouldn't recommend playing this until you're very well acclimated to the game. But notice these D6 dice here, these dice for all these entries. Over here, this uses a D3 for the hero's starting gold. But what you're going to do is you're going to take a separate piece of paper and start right at the top, and you're going to roll. Okay, so 5 came up. We're going to come over here to the die with 5, and notice that's expert difficulty. So in the bazaar, there's only going to be 4 healing potions. You're going to mark that on a separate piece of paper. Going next for elixirs, you're going to roll a d6, 6. Looking at the die 6 for that result, there's only going to be 3 elixir potions in the bazaar. And one more ultra juice, roll the d6, 5. Again, looking over here at the die marked with number 5, there's only going to be 4 ultra juice potions in the bazaar. So you're going to do that for each entry, and I guarantee you it's going to create a wild game for you to try out. So those are the 3 game modes, and like I said over here, actually you could use a D4 for this, and consider the 4th option is the heroes start with 300 gold to make it easier for you. So those are the 3 game modes for the scenario system. Okay, we're now going to do quest setup. So we're looking here in our scenario page at quest table 1, 2, and 3. First thing you're going to do is find the quest cards for the Baron's Wine, A Mother's Request, and Tools of the Trade. I pulled all those cards already, so here's what they look like. And please notice, on all of the quest cards, you're going to see a symbol for each of the dungeons. That's, of course, Ancient Runes. There'll be one for Castle Blackwood, kind of like a black symbol. And then the Cavern of Lost Souls is like purple. And then finally, the Tomb of Kaladar is green. So you can easily find your quest cards you need for that specific dungeon board. Also, here is that main quest token symbol right here, so you can find your main quest easily. Okay, let's take a look at a quest card so I can explain kind of what's going on with these. And this is, of course, for quest table 1, and this is the main quest, the Baron's Wine. So the front side here is just the story I wrote that introduces some of the characters in Avalon. So you're going to read through that. On the reverse side, let's talk about the top here. The green crystal here is in direct correlation with quest table 1. Remember, it had a green crystal? So that's how you know this is a level 1 main quest. That's, of course, the name of the quest. Over here, that's how much gold the heroes will receive for completing this quest. Over here, this is how much life force the heroes will receive for completing this quest. Think of life force as XP. Over here is the objective, and this is just kind of the straight talk of what the heroes have to accomplish for this quest. And right here is, you're going to see setup. Now, what I'm going to do right now is pull all these various pieces, and I want to go over this with you so you know exactly how this quest system works and show you how it offers unlimited replayability, all of the quest. So let me get all these pieces that we're going to need. And as instructed for setup, I have the various tokens and some of the red plastic bases for this quest. And let me say, when I designed this quest, this is kind of like a tutorial quest. And this introduces that key system I told you about in the other video. So briefly, the story is the heroes have just arrived in Witherbrook, and they've met up with this fellow named Baron Whitmore. And what he is asking them is to go into the ancient ruins to retrieve his sparkling cherry jubilee wine, these wine bottles right here. But the problem is he lost the key in the spider lair years ago. So the heroes must journey to the spider lair, find the onyx key that will unlock the doors in the ancient depths to retrieve the wine bottles for Baron Whitmore. So let me go a little more in depth for you and teach you about this quest system. Okay, so here we are in the ancient depths quadrant of the dungeon, and like it says here at setup, I'm going to read this off camera for you. Place 3 doors with red bases in each chamber of the ancient depths. So here, we already did that. Okay, and the next part of setup on the card says to take 3 level 1 monster tokens. Remember, champion monsters when you see those tokens. So take 3 level 1 monster tokens, 1 empty chamber token, and shuffle. So let's go ahead and shuffle these. Okay, so I flipped these things over and gave them a good shuffle. I do not know what each one of those are. And then it instructs us to place 1 token face down in each of the chambers. Now, let me explain something very important for this quest and all of the others, because the quest system is kind of this formula, but there's a lot of things that changes it up for you for the quest. You're sometimes going to be left with 1, 2, 3, or 4 of these monster tokens. You never look at those. You just set these aside somewhere far away and do not look at those, because that's kind of the element of surprise with the quest system. Remember, there was 3 level 1 monsters in an empty chamber token. So we don't know where those monsters are at. Maybe there's an empty chamber. So that's why you don't look at those ones that are left after you shuffle and place them, because it's going to kind of give away that element of surprise that, of course, what we love in these dungeon crawl games. So again, this is a tutorial quest, and it's an easy one to get you acclimated to the quest system. Okay, let's move on to the next step. The next part of setup tells us to take the 2 wine bottles and 1 blank quest item token and shuffle them. And we're going to place those into each of the chambers. And I'll do that real quick. So we'll place 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. And of course, you don't reveal those. And here we are now in the spider lair quadrant of the dungeon. So setup is instructing us to take 3 level 1 champion monster tokens and 1 empty chamber token. We're going to flip those over and shuffle them and place 1 in each of the chambers in the spider lair. Okay, and as you can see, we did that. And again, we have 1 token left, and I did not look at this. You never look at these. Place this way aside and don't ever look at it till the end of the game. Because that way, again, it has that element of surprise. You don't know if there's an empty chamber here or a level 1 monster your heroes are going to fight. And finally, setup is telling us to take the Onyx Key quest token and 2 blank quest item tokens, flip those over and shuffle them and place them in each chamber of the spider lair. So we'll do that real quick. So now you can see with this system that every game, you'll never know where the onyx key is that will unlock those chamber doors in the ancient depths. That key will always be in a different chamber from game to game. Okay, so let me summarize this main quest setup. Of course, the heroes are going to have to retrieve those 2 bottles of sparkling cherry jubilee wine for Baron Whitmore. And they are, of course, locked behind these doors in the ancient depths. The key that will unlock those doors is, of course, the onyx key. That's way up here in the spider lair. So when we start playing, we're going to take some heroes and traverse up into the spider lair to locate the onyx key, then come into the ancient depths so we can find those 2 wine bottles for Baron Whitmore. Okay, at this time, I'm going to take the other 5 quest cards and set those up. If you're playing along at home, you can go right ahead and do the same. So this formula is just about the same, but I did do many different variations for you to change it up. And you're going to see some different kind of quests in the game. So it's not all just this, and I'll leave those as a surprise for you, not spoil anything. Also, I wanted to touch on this for you and about the quest system. You know, this was a tutorial quest, so your heroes are only going to run into level 1 champion monsters in this particular quest. However, after this, consider this right here, when the heroes are level 1, level 2, and level 3. So in a lot of these quests, say when your heroes are level 1, there's a good chance they're going to run into level 1 champion monsters, but there's also a slight chance that they're going to run into a level 2 monster and maybe an empty chamber. When they are doing their level 2 quest and the heroes are level 2, there's a good chance that they're going to run into a lot of level 2 monsters, champion monsters, and a slight chance they're going to run into some level 3 monsters and possibly an empty chamber. And finally, when your heroes are level 3 and working on quest for quest table 3, there's a good chance they're going to run into level 3 champion monsters, and there's also a slight chance they're going to run into a few level 4 monsters and possibly an empty chamber. Lastly, we were just looking at a main quest where it had the heroes looking for the onyx key to open up the chamber doors in the ancient depths. Of course, the onyx key opens up doors with red plastic bases. But just know, and you're going to discover as you start setting quests up and playing, that the key system is going to get kind of intricate for you. And I think you'll enjoy it, where maybe you're going to have to hunt for the jade key, which will open up chamber doors with green bases, because there's a quest item in there you're going to need to obtain the ivory key to open up doors with the blue bases, and everything in between. So my point is, I think you have a lot to look forward to with this key system and how intricate some of these quests are. Okay, and I have set up all 3 of the main quests and all 3 of our side quests here. And if you're following along at home, you probably saw what I was talking about, how some of these quests have you mix in, let's say like for level 1, there's going to be a good amount of level 1 monster tokens and a few level 2 and maybe an empty chamber. And again, as it goes up to level 2, level 3, maybe there's a good amount of level 2 monster tokens, a few level 3, and a few empty chambers. Same for like the level 3 quests. And also, like we were discussing, remember when I said that after you set up your quest, you might have some extra tokens and don't look at them? Way up there, there's kind of a pile of those purple tokens up there, the monster tokens. And so I just set those up there, did not look at them. Remember, you just want to get those away from you. Don't look at those, because then it's kind of reveal what's in the chambers, and it's going to ruin that element of surprise for your heroes. And lastly, we're about to go into the seeding process, which is the final step in advanced setup. But I wanted to make mention about the side quest here. And those of you who are following at home probably saw this. So when I wrote some of these side quests, they're simply kill and clear quests, okay? So like Chambers of the Corrupt here, what is this? It's a level 1 quest, and this is kind of like a tutorial thing too. So down here, so I can aim you down here, over here, that's the tomb of St. Viticus, south and north, right there. And this quest is very easy. It's just all you have to do, the heroes have to go in and clear out the monsters in those chambers. Nothing hard about it. And sometimes I just like those kind of quests where you just want to go in, kick butt, and just kill monsters and hopefully get loot. Another one here is Crusaders of the Light. That deals with the halls of the dead, east and west. You can see that purple and reddish orange area. And that's another one that's just kill and clear. Nice little story I wrote for that. And simply you go in and you have to clear out those monsters. So there's no quest item or anything. So it just kind of breaks up everything. So you're doing different quests. And there's actually even more different kind of quests that you'll discover. Okay, so finally, we're going to move into the seeding process. And I've been looking forward to this one because there were some misconceptions about this. So it's good that I can show you this and we can, explain exactly what you do. Be right back. Before we get into the seeding process, I did want to bring this up to you and make you aware of tokens known as master tokens, as I called them. And master tokens are basically like, for example, here's a secret room token, but it's the same thing on the other side. It's known as a master token. And the master tokens are only for secret rooms, mystery chambers, and crates. So again, they're just the same on each side. And what these lead to is that fun game mechanic where you're going to take, like let's say the crate tokens here. When your heroes bash open a crate or smash open a crate, you're going to take these other crate tokens that actually have something on the other side, keeping that a surprise, and you're going to put them into a mug or bag, or this is pretty big, something like this, and you're going to reach inside and pull one out. So it's that game mechanic where you put something in a mug or bag and you pull out a token. Okay, so we're going to move into the seeding process, and I'm going to be making mention of master tokens. So I just wanted to get you up to speed on what a master token is. Now that we are going into the seeding process, let me explain to you what this exactly is. You're going to notice that after you set up your main quests and your side quests, there's going to be many empty chambers all over the dungeon. So the seeding process, like I've said before, is kind of like this random dungeon generator, if you will. So each time you play the same scenario, all of the empty chambers are going to change thanks to the seeding process. So that's basically what that is. So let's take a look at the scenario book one last time and take a look at the seeding panel. And here we are taking a look at the seeding panel. So we can see that we're going to need 2 level 1 monster tokens, 6 level 2 monster tokens, 3 empty chamber tokens, 1 level 3 monster token, 1 level 4 monster token, 2 mystery chamber master tokens, and 2 secret room master tokens. Now I have these tokens set aside here, so I'm going to pull the camera back and show you what we're going to do with all these tokens. And here are all those tokens like I just described. And so what you're going to do is gather these up and put them into a mug or a bag. This is what I use when I play. So we'll put all of these in here. And we're also going to put one last thing inside here. Let me give it a shake. And there's one last thing we got to put inside here. Okay, and remember those 7 crate master tokens? Here they are right here. Finally, we're going to put those inside. Give it another shake. Make sure it's all mixed up. Now, it should look something like that. Let's go over here and let me show you how to seed the dungeon. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here at the left-hand bottom corner of the dungeon. And let me show you a diagram that I put into the advanced setup role set. Notice like this flow here. This is where we're at right here. And to me, this is what I always do. You're going to come up, go around, kind of like that pattern, like this, until you're finished. So what we're going to do for the seeding process is you're going to look for an empty chamber, put your hand inside your mug or bag, pull out one token and place it inside of the empty chamber. Now, up there at the cesspools south, there's an empty chamber there. So let's head up there and get more in depth with this. And here we are in the cesspool south and the cesspools north. Notice the 3 empty chambers. First, the rule is only one token can be inside of a chamber at a time. However, there is an exception. If there is a master crate token, there can be 2. So let's go over this here. I'm going to reach inside of my, what's not a mug, I call it an orb. So I'm going to reach into my orb of tokens, and I'm going to pull one out. And okay, so we have a level 2 monster token. We're going to place that in this empty chamber. I want to give you a side note that some people do. If you want more of a challenge, try not to look at those. You can flip it over and maybe you'll forget, but there are some players who actually prefer to churn these things over for a bigger challenge. I would not recommend that for your first game. You always want to look at those when you're placing those in the chambers. Okay, so I'm going to reach in for our other empty chamber here. Okay, and I pulled out a mystery chamber. Remember, this is a master token. We're going to place that here. Real quick, mystery chambers, there are many other mystery chambers with something on the reverse side, like the crate token. So when your heroes journey into a mystery chamber, no spoilers, but there's some crazy things that can happen inside of a mystery chamber. Okay, so we have one more chamber here. I'm going to reach in. And, okay, a crate came up, a master token crate. So we're going to put this here. Now, this is the one exception. When there is a crate token, you do draw again. So let's draw again. And it's a level 2 monster token. Okay, so we're going to put that right there. So in that chamber, it's kind of interesting. Your heroes can go in there and, of course, fight the level 2 monster, but there's also a crate that they could smash open after they defeat the monster. You never can smash a crate open when there's a monster. Before we move on, let me explain something. Let's say that we drew another master crate token to go into that room. You don't place that there. You're going to set that aside. You're going to draw again until you find, a secret room, a mystery chamber, or a monster token, or an empty chamber. Okay, so even if, say we pulled, and I'm going to cheat and look so I can show you. Say we set that one aside. We pull another one out. Set that one aside. You're going to keep going until you pull something other than a master crate token. Okay, mystery chamber, that can go right in there. So do you see how that works? So I'm going to go and see the rest of the dungeon. Just remember, only one token goes into a chamber except a crate. So there can be a crate and a monster, a secret room and a crate. So that's how the seeding process works. And again, like I showed you in that diagram, I'm going to kind of turn the corner, go down, go up, go down. And so if you're following along at home, go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you at the end. And here we are. We ended at the Chapel of Light South, these 2 chambers here. Now, let me explain something. Sometimes you're going to have 2 master crate tokens left. The rule is you retrace your steps. So since these were the last 2 chambers, this is where the crate tokens would go. And what's interesting is every game, you're going to notice the seeding process will do some kind of cool things with how things end up. For example, I'm going to move you over here. So over here in the ruins of Daggerith, okay, well, we have it real simple. This is just an empty chamber with a crate in it. So that would be good for a hero to go in and smash open this crate. There's no monster, there's nothing else, there's just that. However, over here in the other chamber of the ruins of Daggerith, there's a crate token, but it's also a secret room. And I'm not going to get into this here, but you have to discover a secret room, and then a hero has to use the lock-picking game mechanic to gain entry into that. So that about wraps it up for the seeding process. All right, I'm going to pull the camera back a bit and we're going to wrap this up, and I'll see you in a second. And we are finished with advanced setup. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Yes, it did have a longer runtime, but to be very candid with you, I love spending time with you guys, especially, you know, if you pledge for the game or you bought the game. You know, as I said, it's my duty, job, and responsibility to be here with you and teach you all this. So if it ran a little longer, so be it. But I think you got very acclimated with this game by, you know, us spending this time here and going over everything that we did in advanced setup. And hopefully you learned a great deal in the process. I'm just scanning over the dungeon to let you see we have everything ready to go. And I want to be honest, I want to play like right now. I truly love this game because you just don't know what's going to happen next. And I've said many times, it's like this thing is like a big machine with different like cogs and wheels and gears spinning all at once. And as you'll see when we start playing in our next video, it's just, you never know what's going to happen. It just creates this like narrative every time, and it's always different. So I'm excited to play. As I said, the next video is going to be how to play Dungeon Crusade, and it's going to be in this format, and more like an instructional video. So that is immediately, we're going to get to work on that for you. And then for now, that's going to conclude the series, but please know I'm coming back with you. We have some workshop videos planned that I want to teach you how to create your own quests and your own scenarios. That was paramount in designing this game, is, you know, to let fellow gamers and people use their creativity and imagination and, you know, share their design for quests and scenarios and mods. So again, we have a few exciting announcements when the how to play Dungeon Crusade wraps up that I think you're going to enjoy. And again, I hope you enjoyed this video. I love you guys. I love hanging out with you, and time to get to work on the next video. I hope everyone has, the weekend's coming up, I hope you have a great weekend with your family for 4th of July. If you celebrate 4th of July, shoot some fireworks off, have a cookout. And you're going to be seeing me soon with how to play Dungeon Crusade, and I know we're going to have an awesome time. Okay, guys, have a great day. Thank you again for your time, your interest, your excitement, your support. Truly means a lot. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.